Everyone, are you full from breakfast or still full from all the great food you had last night? All right, good. If you are not full, we would totally fail you, and I would feel very sad. So happy that you feel fed. And hopefully you will also feel fed emotionally and intellectually after all of the great sessions today. I want to give all of our presenters this morning all their time, so I will very briefly introduce the moderator of this first session on creating new gastronomic identities. It is Jim Poris, who was the longtime editor of Food Arts magazine and who is launching Food and, a new magazine and website later this summer, and he will tell you a little bit more about that. Jim Poris, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. I haven't been here in about 2 years. They changed the program from November to April. So I think the last time I was here for Worlds of Flavor was November 2013, and I am really happy to be back here. I thought yesterday's opening was one of the most invigorating that I've ever been a part of, and I've been here for maybe 12 of these sessions, so it was really fabulous. I just want to go back to today's session is about identity, and yesterday's was about community, but I want you to help me and the other people involved with this project build a community. We are starting a new magazine called Food and. It's going to be a website and a magazine, and it is going to be the successor to Food Arts, which many of you know closed in September 2014. So if you found that Food Arts was an important part of your professional life and you want that kind of information with long articles explaining and taking you to many parts of the food world that you may not get to or didn't know about, if you want that kind of insight and photography and et cetera, please go on to foodandmagazine.com, and now you can sign up for it. And the first issue will be published sometime in midsummer, and the website should be operational sometime in mid-May. So please join the Food and community. I would really appreciate it. So today's session is entitled Creating New Gastronomic Identities, the DNA of Restaurants We Serve. And I just want to say, it goes without saying that identity comes from within a culture or tradition, and from how you relate to those two aspects, and how that leads to self-expression, which in turn leads to identity. That's not the same as a concept. You can't retrofit yourself into a script. You just appear, and it shows in your food, and then in every other aspect of your restaurant, till it reaches the point where the public, your customers, grab onto it, and they dig what you do. Because it's honest, and it's you, and that's your identity, and that's how you become known, and how you kind of build the following, and obviously a following builds good business. Kind of on the subtitle of this conference, Europe and the Americans, today's presenters, we have 3 of them. We have 2 Americans who work in America. We have 1 European who works in America, and we have 1 European who happens to work in Europe, but there are a lot of Americans who would like to go to Europe to work with her. So we have a lot of people taking planes all over the place. I'd like to introduce the first presenters today, Jeremiah Stone and Fabian von Hauske, of the newish restaurant, although it's been open for about 2 years now, Contra in the Lower East Side, and their newer Wild Air, which people talk about as a wine bar, but it's a wine bar with extraordinary food right next door. Let me tell you a little about how I know them. Jeremiah, I see almost every day in the New York Farmers Market, and you can see him there early in the morning. He takes a big blue trash bag of vegetables and product, taps a cab down to the Lower East Side at 9 o'clock in the morning, and he's cooking there till about midnight. So he's very committed to what he does. Fabian is the pastry chef, and he also works a bit on the savory side. The other day I was speaking to Chad Robertson on the phone, and he just happened to say to me, "Jimmy, have you ever been to Wild Air?" Or I said, yeah, I've been there. He said, it's fabulous. And I really like what Fabian does with restaurants. He hits that spot between savory applications and sweet applications, putting them both into his desserts without one dominating, and it's a beautiful unity. And says, I don't think that I've had desserts like the way Fabian does. So that's kind of high praise from someone who's well esteemed in the business. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeremiah and Fabian.
Thanks, guys. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? All right.
So I'm Fabian. This is Jeremiah. And like we said, we have two restaurants in New York. One's Contra, where we do a tasting menu of sorts. So we do 6 courses for $67. When we opened, we were doing 5 courses for $55. And we try to always keep it affordable. And then we recently, about 6 months ago, opened kind of focused in natural wines restaurant. And yeah.
Yeah, so a little bit about what we do is, you know, talking about identity, and both restaurants are just really driven by, you know, what we want to do, and they came about very naturally. So with opening Contra, like, you know, we didn't set out to say, oh, we're going to do a, you know, a tasting menu restaurant, or a, you know, a restaurant that serves this kind of cuisine. It's just something that we thought, well, if we have a set menu, that means we get to, you know, control the cost, which is the bottom line, and then, you know, that way we could do whatever we want, and people will be able to come at that price level. So that was just like, on a business level, here's the price, and then come for whatever ideas we have, whatever, you know, ingredients we want to use.
What is your price?
$67.
$67.
Yeah. So
$67 for what, 5, 6 courses?
7
courses.
courses and like a little snack. But, you know, the idea is just that we, you know, wanted to present something that people we knew, you know, people in the industry could come and eat, and just kind of like have this very familial aspect. And you come, we serve you, you don't think too much about what you're going to do, and we just cook for you. And then when opening Wild Air, which is, it's been really kind of following what, you know, everyone wants out of it, and also what our staff is able to produce. So a lot of it is just, we knew we wanted to have a place that was really focused on natural wines, and you know, just opening magnums and walking around the room and pouring, and so the food ends up becoming a very shareable experience. You know, we call it a bistro sometimes, just to get you in that mode of thinking how casual it is. But you know, it's a pretty big menu, and we just kind of do things that we know will be light and super fresh and easy to just hand off to your buddy that you're eating with. And so that's a lot of times what happens. People just start ordering wines, or we just start pouring, and that kind of gets the whole evening going. Based on the wines, people start thinking, okay, we're gonna, you know, let's get a tartare, let's get a crudo or something fresh, you know. And then as the night develops, they start ordering more food, you know, and kind of going in a different direction with the wines. And but that's something that kind of happens very, very naturally, and without kind of prompting. We just say, what do you want to drink? You know, white, red, pet nat, and then just kind of starts from there. Yeah.
I will say that at both places, they created a very happy and engaging environment for the people who work there and for the people who come to dine and drink. So it's fun to be there, because you feel like, you know, they want you to be there, and that because of that, you want to be there. Every time I'm there, I just have this great feeling. So are you aware of the identity at this point? It's a so-called identity that you have with the public. Is that something you ever think about?
No, I think, you know, like you said, for us it's very important to have an identity. And I feel people who come to our places, they come to a place where they know it's, you know, it's our house, and we're welcoming them. And everything from the music to the tables to everything, you can feel, or I hope you can feel, that there's a touch of us in everything. And I think that's very important to transmit an experience. And I think that's why people feel welcome, because somehow they're transported to an experience that you're trying to create, which is very important for us. You know, people say that coming to Wild Air is like going to someone's house's party, and like music's loud, there's wine everywhere, food. So yeah, that's definitely something we try to create in both places.
I mean, like, New York City is a noisy place with lots of restaurants and lots of food writers and lots of opinions.
Yeah.
So how do you kind of make yourself heard among all that cacophony?
Well, we're loud, you know.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's kind of like the food is, you know, it's in our, you know, personal taste. It's kind of, sometimes it's subtle, and it's not like this over the top, like really big, you know, flavors. It's just stuff that we feel is a little bit on the lighter side. But we make you know, when I say we're loud, it's like just with everything. You know, you walk in and it's kind of like this. We make sure that we know that you're there, and you know, we love coming out and talking with guests and like. I think every night it's important that you have friends in the restaurant, because people who don't know you, who don't know the restaurant, they come in their first time, they see people interacting with you, and you know, I don't think it comes off as oh, that guy knows him. It's just like you have a couple friends, and it gets other people more comfortable. It gets other people going, and they come in, and you know, we try to put ourselves out there. We do really fun events, and we try to make sure that you know, people see us, because it's, you know, it's tough. It's a tough business. So
one of the fun events you're known for is having guest chefs come in and do a dinner, and these are chefs, some of the better known chefs from all over the world. Can you just speak about one or two of them you've done recently?
Yeah, I mean, we've done dinners with husband from Maimo, Septime, other restaurants.
Espadar from Chateaubriand.
And I think, you know, that falls in what we think is the identity of our restaurant. We started the two of us, so it's always been a conversation. You know, coming up with dishes, coming up with the restaurant, coming up with everything is a conversation with more than one person. And for us, that's always been the spirit. So, you know, we try to keep talking to producers, farmers, friends, chefs from all over the world, writers. You know, for us, everything about the restaurant is a conversation, and kind of how that influences what you do.
Okay. Why don't you show something what you do there?
Yeah. So Fabian's gonna do a dish that, you know, we've kind of play around with sometimes at the restaurant. We might do it for a party or something, but a lot of so doing a demonstration with food, it's like, it's very hard to capture the food, but you don't really capture the environment. You don't capture the feeling of the, so I'll just talk a little bit about like how the relationships kind of lead to certain ideas of the food. And so these are, this is an oyster dish that we play around with. At the restaurant, we're in New York, and there's a lot of amazing seafood. And some guy just walked into, you know, our restaurant one day, came up to me and was like, "You guys eat oysters?" And he just had like an oyster knife. And this kind of happens all the time. I'm sure, like, you know, you guys, in all different cities, but he had these amazing wild oysters from Montauk, and you know, they're called wild acabonic oysters. And they're massive. They're this, you know, the size of your hand. So we'll poach them in the shell. We tie them up and poach them in the shell just for a minute and a half, and it kind of gently cooks in its own liquid. And then we serve that with a lapsang souchong gelée, which is a smoked tea, Chinese smoked tea, and with a little bit of shoyu, sugar and salt, and then hon mirin. And then you know, I really like oysters with herbaceous flavors, and so, you know, we're using chervil and some anise kind of herbs like tarragon. It gets a bit of, we're right down the block from Russ and Daughters, which is a 100-year-old institution. It's a Jewish deli that specializes in smoked fish, salmon. Jim knows probably a lot more about Russ and Daughters. I know the family very well. I know all generations that are still alive, and they're incredible, and they've been a great support, and we also help them a lot with their opening, because they open a cafe across the street. And you know, for me, like, something like that is embodiment of Lower East Side, which is where we are. So we always try to pay homage to people who came before us, like Wiley Dufresne at WD50, who was there 10 and 15 years before us, and then someone like Russ and Others, who was there 100 years before us. So, you know, we go there and we do soups and stocks from their smoked trout heads and bones, and, you know, they have great caviar, so we go there and we taste caviar, you know, every week. And you know, sometimes we'll just take a trip down there and be like, oh, can we get some caviar, some French trout roe, and just little things that tie into the ideas in the restaurant. So this right here is just poached oyster with smoked tea gelée, caviar. We make a bitter almond milk. So like apricot kernels that we find all over Chinatown, which is our backyard. We're making milk from that, just with water and a bit of vinegar, and then the fresh herbs, and then the oysters just marinated in some spruce vinegar.
Wow, that looks unbelievable. And this would be part of the tasting?
Yeah, so this would be
Like your
probably
first.
like the first bite that you would get before the menu starts.
How often do you change up the menu?
Contra-
Jeremiah, I see in the
Every
market
week,
all the
yeah.
time. So is it
Contra
every day?
changes every week,
Every week?
and then while there, we'll change a dish or two every 3 weeks, every month.
Yeah, we try to keep some things for people to come back to, and Contra is a bit like, it's nice to have regulars because, you know, they know that they're not coming back, oh, I have to have the same thing, they're coming back to try something different. So it takes a certain kind of, you know, person to come back and take those risks, but, you know, that's why we really appreciate those people that are there every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks.
I failed to mention, while you're listening to them talk about their two places, that they've been nominated for a Beard Award for Best New Restaurant. And let's hope you walk away with it. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah.
And if you're ever in New York City, I think most of you get to some point, go down to the Lower East Side and check out what they're doing. It's really unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next presenter is an extraordinary person. That's all I can say. She's really extraordinary, and she's wonderful, and she's filled with wild and wonderful ideas, and she has a very inquisitive and restless mind, and even when she's asleep, she's never asleep. She's great. And that is Dominique Crenn, who has 2 restaurants in San Francisco, Atelier Crenn, and then most recently she opened up in her the neighborhood where she lives in Hayes Valley, a small restaurant called Petit Crenn, which means Little Crenn, which kind of which emphasizes some of the dishes that she grew up with in Brittany along France's Atlantic coast. So I'm going to just turn it over to my good old friend, Dominique.
How you guys doing this morning? Everybody got coffee, breakfast? Yes? No? Glass of wine, maybe? Well, thank you so much, and to allow me to be here. It's a pleasure. It's so many talented people. Okay, so I want to start with a little bit of video, so I'll give you a kind of a yes, yeah, I'm French. My English is not that great. And then get an idea about what Atelier Crenn is about, so let's roll the video out. Technical difficulty. What's going on? So what you see here, it's some bottle of wine and somebody to try to write notes. What are they writing? I don't know. Yeah, maybe we should do. Yeah. Oh no, it's okay. There you go. Okay, so as you see, this is a restaurant. We serve moule and fries. I was thinking about a steakhouse, maybe. No, but I just want to give you kind of the idea about how we started Atelier Crenn. Like Jim said, it's not about a concept. It's about your identity and try to find a voice, how you want to bring that voice to the public. So my idea was for Atelier Crenn was, for a long time, I wanted to start a dialogue with a lot of people, and that was to express myself. So how can you express yourself cooking food? I'm not sure. How can you do that?
You started with poems.
There you go. Well, I mean, it's hard, you know. I think when you try to open a restaurant, often you look for funding. So people need to invest, you know, give you some money because obviously, as you know, in our industry, we don't have a lot of money, but we have a lot of ideas. So it's kind of hard to be able to kind of give them a concept because this is not a concept that you're doing. I didn't want a concept. I don't believe in concept. I mean, I don't know, my business partner might be mad at me right now, but I wanted to, you know, it's like you have a writer that's going to write book. I'm just a cook and I'm trying to maybe write something with food, and it's a dialogue. So it's not just a restaurant, it's kind of a community in itself. So the idea was to express the story and to express yourself also and to bring people together. So I mean, it might be complicated, but it's not really complicated, and it's...
Can you speak a little about the poems? And Dominique creates and writes poems and then builds menus around the poems that she writes. Can you talk a little about that?
Well, I mean, I've been writing poetry since the age of 4, and the idea of writing a menu that is a poem was about writing a story. And the story was connected with food. And what is food, you know? I don't really like to read menu when you see, I don't know, sea bass over crusted rice. I don't know, that sounds weird, right? It was for me to be able to connect with my customer and to also kind of give them a window of who I am and my identity. And so the idea of writing a poem is also the idea of doing other things. So the food that we're serving at Atelier Crenn is not just dishes per se, it's a story of the month or the season of the day. And every dish has a line. And from those dishes, we also create vessels that go with those dishes. And we also connect those dishes with the producer, the farmers, and the farmers is basically the ecosystem of the restaurant. So there is a lot of things going on. It's not just us to be chefs, but it's about us to have a voice and to bring our voice to our community. Once again, you know, when you're in a restaurant business, there's 2 things you can do. You can be a chef, serve food, and make a lot of money, or you can have responsibility about what you're doing. You know, we are in an industry right now where, and that was kind of the idea also to open Atelier Crenn. I believe that food is the core of the society. And when I say that this is my identity. I believe a lot of things, but this is the way that was my vehicle to basically to express myself. We need, as cook or anybody is in the industry, everybody that is here needs to be to understand that food of restaurant are the #1 industry everywhere in the world. And I think it's important as a chef or as a cook or as a winemaker to be responsible to the product that you put out there. It's about be thoughtful and conscious and not putting on the plates things that you don't know where they come from or anything like that. So it's a community, work with your farmers, know where the food comes from, make sure that everything that you serve in a restaurant is ethical, sustainable. I'm not lecturing you, but I'm telling you that we need to do that as a community. I want also to talk about 40% to up to 50% of the industrial farming are contributing to climate change. So this is not a political restaurant, but this is a thoughtful and conscious, and this is where I think the future needs to go. That's my identity. That's it.
Well said. How far in advance do you work on a menu? I mean, there's a lot going on with each, so how much trial and error is there in each dish?
I think mistakes are great. There's a lot of mistakes. You know, there is this wonderful man that we met 2 years ago, and he has a farm. He has a bee farm. So he makes honey, and you know, it's just wonderful. And you know, I don't know if you understand what's going on with bees. Bees are very important to the environment, and unfortunately, it's pretty tricky. So we worked with him for about a few months, especially my pastry chef Ron Contreras. And what we wanted to do as a dish was a honey dish, and to also bring awareness to people when they come and eat the dish, and kind of tell them the story and how important honey and bees are in our world. And I don't know, it just took us about 4 or 5 months to develop the dish, because we had to make the vessel. We had to take some honeycomb from his farm to build kind of a stand to present things. So we wanted to connect everything, and it was a big story, so.
Wow.
I don't know, and sometimes it just take one day. No, I'm kidding.
Well, thank you, Dominique.
Oh, and then, okay, so anyway, so this is identity, whatever.
You had it.
Yeah, okay, so I want to
sorry.
introduce you guys to other things also. I think there is video where you can showcase your food, and I met those young talents not a long time ago, and they came out with some ideas about presenting food in a different way, 3D. And I think the 3D and the virtual way is going to be the next things, I think. So she's going to show you a couple of pictures, and then if you want to talk to her after that.
Okay.
It's just, an introduction. So
We're tight on time.
it's all yours now.
Hi, so Polyyummy is working with Dominique Crenn. We believe that
use that all the
food is an
time.
art form,
Okay.
so Polyyummy is the future.
Jim, do you want to give them?
Oh, okay.
Hi, Polyyummy is the future of digitizing and presenting your cuisine in food holograms. Thank you, Dominique. We believe she's a true artist, and we wanted to capture some of her cuisine from Atelier Crenn. So if you haven't been, please come visit. And here, this is Kira Brie, as you can see from every angle. And this is the tuna. And you can try this when you come to the restaurant. This is a sea brim. And this is the forest. Having that vessel that surrounds the food.
So this vessel took us about 6 months to make, I think. Yeah.
And this is the tree that you'll receive at the end. And you can see the dessert.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dominique. Okay, we're going to rapidly move into the next presenter. Her name is Elena Arzak. And if you don't know Elena, you probably know the last name Arzak. She's the co-owner of the restaurant Arzak in Barcelona with her father, Juan Marie, who is one of the founders of the so-called Vanguardia movement in Spain, which includes such luminaries as Ferran Adria and many, many others. Elena is now effectively running the restaurant. Her father's still present, but it's really her restaurant at this point. In 2015, the CIA presented her with an Augie Award, which is represents someone who is carrying on the tradition of creativity and leadership. She has won numerous other awards from that organization that gives out the world's best. She's number 17 on that list. She was the Restaurant Magazine's Woman Chef of the Year in 2012, and as long as my arm is, and it's a long arm, she's won all those awards. So without going on anymore, here's Elena Arzak.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for coming. And to Dominique and Fabian and Jeremiah, Jim. Before we start, I'll show you a small video, please. Bueno, I'm from I'm from San Sebastian. This year, San Sebastian is the European Capital Culture of Europe 2016. I'm very proud to show it to you and that you come to San Sebastian. And also to let you know that the gastronomy and the food has been very involved, and many chefs of my city, we are ambassadors of the European Capital Cultural, and I wanted to share with you. I'm here today with Igor Zalakain. He's my chef assistant. He's one of the chefs. Not only that, he's worked for us more than 20 years, and he's one of the chefs of the Tasting Kitchen or Laboratory. And I want also, he sees and he lives this such incredible events where everybody's mixed, a lot of different chefs, a lot of different styles, big chefs, chefs that are starting, and I think it's good to everybody. Bueno, I'm from Restaurant Arzak, as Jim introduced, that exists since 1897. I'm the fourth generation, and you will ask, what is the secret for surviving so long? No? Today I work with my dear father that greets you also, and he worked with the grandmother, and the secret from one side is the heritage of your own culture, to respect the Basque roots, also to not to forget what the other generations did previous, and to really to take the good parts that they transmit, no? The basis that the mentality. Also is to respect your land and your environment. We are located in a privileged place that is the Basque area, is in the north of Spain, and is, you know, surrounded the Atlantic Sea, and then there is the land where you can find extraordinary farmers' products. Really, some of you I know have been in San Sebastian, and they know that. Also, another secret is to look back. That in the 70s there was, for example, the Nueva Cocina Vasca revolution, the new Basque cuisine revolution. My father and Chef Subijana, they did a very important job with other guests together, with other chefs together, and this they really bring very close to the people the food. It was really very important what they did. Next please, Igor. And you know, also what is very important is to use the innovation. The innovation is, even if we respect the past, you cannot evolve if you don't use the innovation. In Arzak we have made, imagine in so many years, I tell you we have in 2014 we celebrate 25 years consecutive with 3 stars of Michelin, and we still have them. Thank you. So you can imagine what we did in so many years, no? Even in the 70s, that I told you that everything started. And we have done different systems, no? And also, for example, we made very different studies, no? The studies of how, for example, the color influences the food. Also, how we can go further. This I will explain you later. We are going to start with the first plate with Igor. That is, as I told you, we are very based on our roots. Even if we do a cuisine with techniques that perhaps are new or you don't know, or ingredients that you don't recognize, the base of our cuisine is a Basque technique, so we can use a Basque, a lot of garlic, parsley, that is very Basque, the fish not very cooked. Our cuisine is 80% based on the sea products. No, we adore fish, we have a special sensibility towards the fish. We brought, this is cocochas. Cocochas is the one part of of the fish, of hake or codfish, no? And you know, to a Basque, the cocochas are very, very important, no? We eat them at Christmas, we eat them always when we have a special event, no? And also the food needs to be, you know, to go further, you need to risk, no? Not only, and to have your own personality, like said Dominique, be yourself, no? And we like also to risk a little bit, no? And imagine to make, these are cocochas of bacalao. The difference is that of codfish. The cocochas of codfish have more gelatin than the cocochas of hake. No, but you will see, we wanted you know them, no? Even if you cannot find them here, but you know what we like, no? Normally they are done in a way that is called pil-pil. That is, these cocochas have a lot of natural gelatin of the fish itself, and this is an emulsion called pil-pil. It's based on garlic and olive oil. You play with the temperatures. You need to control the temperatures even from the fish and even from the olive oil, and you do an emulsion. We have go further. Not to a Basque, they are really important, no? And we wanted. Why not to do the cocochas in another way? So this is bamboo. Imagine to a Basque saying that you are eating cocochas with bamboo, they will think we are crazy. But we wanted really. We study a system, it's called leafy cuisine with leaves. The leaves, for some cultures, that I can see in Words of Flavor is the influence lot of Latin America, of Asia also. In Latin America and Asian, other cultures, eating with leaves is not new because the tamales and other, they use them. But for us, it's not something new. You can use elements from other cultures that for them are traditional, but for us are new. No? And in this case, the cocochas, we cooked with the bamboo, because now when he makes them plancha with bamboo sprouts, and then we put on the leaf, and the leaf is like, you know, a papillote, and is like the tamales, and gives an aroma that goes into the cocochas, but don't mask them. Because everything we want to do around the product is only to help him to be better, not to mask, no? And, you know, I like this plate because from one side it's very Basque, but it's new. And everybody, the first day, woof, we thought, what will they say, no? We were my family, oh, la, la, la. But really, when they accept it, and has been very successful plates. In this case, we have the almonds, because here in California they are very nice almonds, and we decide to put the sprouts of bamboo and the almonds. Then you put another leaf on the top, and then you steam a little bit, and it's really a very subtle aroma. So here we have the cocochas bamboo, is the first plate. So now, thank you. When someone told us, where is your influence, Kate? Where are you inspired? No, today we have a lot of information all over. So in the streets and in the media, on TV, all over. No, there's so much information that we don't have time to process it all. No, and what we do is really we use the information, because we go and you can see very interesting things all over, no? About informatics, about everything. So, and the influence is really we use what we like, what we think that can help us. Our cuisine, even if I told you before, everything we do around is to make the product better. And it's not only because it's modern, or because we are very fashion, or because we want to be obsessed to do every day, every year a lot of new plates. No, we want that to help our cuisine. We have since the year 2000 a testing kitchen or lab where Igor is one of the chefs, and they work with my father and me developing new ideas. You know, the chefs today, we are very busy, we have a lot of ideas, and we don't have time to develop all these ideas. And so what we did, we decided to organize, this lab exists since the year 2000, to organize the creativity. One side is the production and other is the creativity, because a lot of ideas get lost. Here is the lab, has been renovated this year. I'm very lucky, my husband is architect, and so he makes to us the all renewing the Arzak. Here you see these small boxes where we have ingredients and spices from all over the world. We make the difference between raw materials and ingredients. Raw materials are from our area, from our land, or so close as possible, because we can control. We can get the contact to the farmer, to the supplier, because in San Sebastian, a lot of farmers sell in the market, and or to us. Also, another thing is the ingredients. Ingredients are ingredients from all over the world that can travel. So spices, vinegars, olive oil that can travel. So and this is we always use a lot of ingredients from all over the world, but in the best way, because they have to pass our palate. I told you the fish is very important. Here is bonito. Bonito is seasonal. Everything we use, the raw materials are seasonal, because in San Sebastian, still they are very seasonal products. Here is, I told you garlic is very important in the Basque cuisine, and here we have the mendresca. It's called mendresca, it's the ballet of the bonito. It's a bonito of the Atlantic North, and what you see here is the skin. We do, this ballet is thinner than the Mediterranean ballet. Here is innovation, and the inspiration is all over. Our cuisine has become a multidisciplinary cuisine. So we rely on different people, because, as I told you, we like things that we say in art. We see in art. We like things that we say in the, for example, the advertising. You can go to see a nice advertising and say, wow, I want to do something. And here, this is a screen that reminds the sea. No, it's like an iPad that I guess we present this plate is the low tide of San Sebastian, no? But of course, it's very curious, because the same plate, no, we made a tasting in the restaurant. We like to that the guest is very involved. No, we made the same plate. They like better with the screen. But of course, what for us still very important, and the main player, and is the food. No, here is the tuna that we made smoked with cinnamon. Normally, you are very surprised, because the cinnamon should be strong, but the aroma of the smoking cinnamon is very subtle. No, and this is a plate always in summer. Now Igor is doing the tamal. I'm happy to see yesterday was a lot of Mexican influence. So my family, we went a lot to Mexico, and so unconsciously we use a lot of their systems, no? And you know, the corn is very Basque, and the corn is very Basque. We have a lot of plates with corn, no? And we decide why not to use like a tamal. No, that this is also, but this is, we brought it because we are in Napa Valley, and the food with the wine is very important, and in Spain also the wine is very important. So what we do is we cook, first we cooked in water, and then we leave it in red wine for 1 day, and then you will see, no, they do because it makes nice. No, it has a purpose. The purpose is, well, here is a tuna that we brush with a mojo. It's like a puree of corn and peppers. We adore peppers also. And we made a galette that is freeze-dry corn, freeze-dry peppers, and fruits. So what we did, if you cannot find freeze-dry, you can, if you find dehydrated, it's okay. So what we do is in the time where is served from the dining room, from the kitchen to the dining room, no, the aroma of the wine goes into the tuna. No, we present it like that. As you know, for me, the service, the purpose of the service and the front serving is today getting more and more important. No, they know exactly. They need to control. They are 2 minutes until the plates arrive to the guests, in front of the guests. No, so I tell you that. So this is the bonito. When in this case tuna with the tamal and the sisho. Sisho, you know, is a plant that when you cook it has a purple color, no? And also a strong flavor that we need for the bonito. So this is the bonito, and we go on. And now I tell you to describe yourself is very, very important, very difficult, no? And I told you Basque cuisine is always very present in our palates, no? Unconsciously, because I grew up in San Sebastian, my father also, and unconsciously, if we use the innovative techniques, we always think in Basque, no? And it's a cuisine, a signature cuisine. Fortunately, we don't cook everybody the same. No, the persona, the humans, we are still important. And it's research-based, evolving and cutting edge. Is what I explained in the lab, that we are multi-fact, that we work with, for example, also with academics and scientifics, with historians, with a lot of people that can help with the suppliers. And you will, another thing that for me is very important, no, that when people ask, what do you think about the future? 2 minutes. The future is...
1 minute.
I could speak 5 hours, as you can see. No, but it's very good. It's more people after. And it's true. For me, the future of the cuisine is a cuisine very, very close to the supplier. And I like the plates that look simple but are not really simple at all. No, this apparently simplicity for me is the future of the cuisine. Also in Arzak now we are on a period where we make rethinking. We are rethinking everything, rethinking what we did. We are on a time where we stop and we want to rethink. In this 1 minute video to end, to show you what we think rethinking, because we want to reclaim happiness. Happiness is the most important, and I think people are right to get to the restaurants and really to share with us their happiness. Please play the video.
Thank you.
Dear friends, colleagues, journalists, and other visitors. Dear Dad, it's time to rethink everything. The world is changing, gastronomy is changing, diners are changing. The experiences we have in the kitchen are changing. Our awareness of our environment, the way we communicate, it's all changing. What about chefs? In this context, our profession and our roles as professionals are also changing. Before we just cooked. Today, we've moved out of the kitchen, sometimes a bit more than we'd like to. Today, more than ever, we're slaves to our professions, but we also have more power. We're social role models, representative of a country or of a culture. Yes, it's time to think and rethink. To rethink of cooking as a social tool. We don't just feed stomachs. We fill the table with conversations, thoughts, and experiences. To rethink the role of cooking as an economic trigger. Our work has important economic consequences. To conquer a country through its stomach is the shortest route. For example, we introduce people far beyond our borders to San Sebastian, the Basque Country, or Spain. 4 decades ago, a group of chefs revolutionized our kitchens and created a concept and a movement, the new Basque cuisine. Since then, that work has attracted visitors, has generated revenue, and has built a brand for a city and a country. To rethink cooking as a source of knowledge. We cooks spend all day learning from our colleagues. from conferences, from publications, and above all, our work consists of searching and researching. We should collaborate and share what we've learned with the science and food industries. Rethink the kitchen to strengthen the whole sector. In these times, fine dining restaurants are experience and content generators. The plate is our pretext for telling stories. Our cuisine starts with the producers and in the markets. Sharing our process is much more than highlighting the plate. It's to awaken a new respect for the products and producers that form part of the gastronomic cycle and the cycle of life. Rethink gastronomy to awaken attitudes. From our kitchens, we can awaken a curiosity for environmental awareness. To see the world as a place where we're just like renters who have to leave things in good shape when we go. To awaken an interest in biodiversity. To encourage the use of locally sourced raw materials. To demand varieties and species that our lifestyle has condemned to extinction. To recommend seasonal consumption and associate a healthy diet with quality of life. Rethink cooking as a lifestyle. Our lives are conditioned by speed. Everything in our world has to be fast right now. Fast food, fast cars, quick money, quick sex. In Arzak, we don't get this fast thing. We are a 100-plus-year-old restaurant. I'm fourth generation Arzak. For quite some time, I've shared chef's whites with my father, and someday I'll take on that marvelous but complicated responsibility alone. But I'm not in a hurry to do things. I've grown up watching dishes and plans being made over a low flame. That's the lifestyle I want for my family, my team, and my country. And I'll defend it, wooden spoon in hand. Lots of love. Thank you very much.
Bueno. Thank you for making me part, for coming here, and for me it's a great experience. For Igor, thanks to my helper Jason, our helper, and see you soon. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, Dominique. Thank you, Fabian and Jeremiah. Now I need you all to run to your breakout sessions. I had to already send Jim to moderate his, starting at 9 o'clock. If you are in Ecolab and Debon, it's on the first floor. Williams is right at the entrance of the property. Rudd 1 and 2, when you exit the building, make a left. And if you are in Ventura, it's here, obviously. If you are in a kitchen workshop, please stay in the back of the room. You will be instructed on where to go shortly. The seminars and workshops you signed up for are on the back of your name badge. And I think that's it. At 10 o'clock, we will have a break, and then we will come back here at 10:30. Enjoy your breakouts.
Hi, I'm Chef William from Rich Products, and today I'll be showing you how to make a potato quinoa cake with fresh dill, hot smoked salmon, creme fraiche, and cured lemon. In a bowl, I've mixed together potato, quinoa, Parmesan cheese, chives, and dill, along with our Rich's quick quiche. I've prepared a pan with pan spray that I've lined with parchment paper and as well as more pan spray. Take your potato mixture and put it on the sheet tray. Pressing it down to form a cake. This will be baked in a 350-degree oven for 25 to 35 minutes. Here we have the already baked and cooled quinoa potato cake. Here I've cut out a 1-inch by 6-inch piece of the potato cake, which I've baked in the oven until golden brown. On a plate, I will drizzle the chive oil around in a circle around the outside. Next, I've added my potato cake and my hot smoked salmon. On top of this, I'm going to put creme fraiche, some pickled mustard seeds, a little bit of sous vide egg yolk with lemon, the cured lemon, and finish this off with a sprig of fresh dill. And here you have it, potato quinoa cake with fresh dill, hot smoked salmon, creme fraiche, and cured lemon.
In Kitchen Workshop C, please make your way to the restaurants. It will be in that kitchen. And that's on the first floor of the building. So you have to, there's someone with a hand raised there. If you can follow her. Yes, I see a group leaving, great. And then if you are in the teaching kitchen, please walk to the back of the teaching kitchen. So make your way through in the big kitchen there. If you are in the Ghirardelli Chocolate Discovery Center, that's on the first floor, walk past the cafe and it will be the first room on your left. And if you are in the Woodstone Outdoor Live Fire Kitchen, you can exit through the door there, make a left outside, and then walk to the Live Fire Kitchen. And the back of the room has cleared, so it means everyone now knows where they're going. So we're ready? Okay. All right. I will now introduce the moderator for this next session on Catalan cuisine and ingredients, tradition and innovation. And we're very happy this year to have two wonderful chefs from Catalonia with us. We have a great Spanish delegation overall, and it's always a pleasure to have chefs from this wonderful country with really great food. The moderator of this session is Roxanne Weber, who is the Vice President of Media for Chef's Feed. And I hope that you all spend a lot of time on Chef's Feed. They have wonderful videos. They have wonderful articles written by chefs also. And it's just a really great inside perspective on the industry, but for the outside. So we love Chef's Feed. We're very happy to have Roxanne with us today. Roxanne Weber.
Thank you. So I'm really excited to moderate this session because I've actually had the pleasure of eating in this region of Spain, and it's amazing. It's a place where like the joy of food and dining really comes out, and I think you'll see that in our presenters today. So this session is exploring the ongoing innovation and tradition in the Catalan cuisine and kind of the convergence of the two. To lead you through this, we're going to hear from Chefs Sergio and Mateo, who will be demonstrating some dishes from their respective restaurants. So we're going to start with Chef Sergio. He's known for his inventive takes on traditional tapas dishes at his restaurants in Barcelona, La Pepita and La Cava. He mixes fresh local flavors with global ingredients and influences and kind of brings in his background, which is unique, where he was once an industrial designer. So you'll see some very visual elements in his food as well. So please welcome Chef Sergio.
How are you? Now, okay. So it's difficult to be after Elena, so I will try to do my best. So my name is Sergio Andreu. I am the chef of Restaurant La Pepita and Restaurant La Cava in Barcelona. And well, this girl over there is my business partner and also my life partner. This is Sofia. Today I would like to talk to you about a really traditional cooking technique. But before that, I would like to let Sofia say a few words and show a video about our restaurant. So please.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to give you the welcome to La Pepita. Shall we? So that's exactly what La Pepita is about. It's a restaurant run by people, family, and mostly people, just addressed to people. What we want is the clients to feel good, to enjoy the atmosphere, to enjoy the food, mix all together, and especially have a nice time with us, which is what they are supposed to come for. And that's what is our first goal in La Pepita. So whenever you are in Barcelona, you are more than welcome. Now I'll let Sergio with his escabeches. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
So the cooking technique. Well, the cooking technique is escabeche. Okay, maybe most of you already know. Basically, very basically, an escabeche is to cook ingredients, okay, in vinegar. That's it. That's very basically. And traditional, this was a very simple way and very traditional way to preserve the ingredients, like fish, meat, vegetables. It's a very, very ancient technique, okay? We know that Romans already made escabeche like around the 3rd century, so it's really, 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 really traditional, really old. So the title of this demonstration is Traditional Escabeche, but not totally. So why now we are saying that traditional escabeche or the escabeche that we make a la pepita, they are not really traditional? There are several reasons, okay? First, we have a lot of different types of vinegar, so we can make an incredible combination. We don't need now, well, we need, but we don't need now to keep, we don't need to preserve food because we can keep it in cold. So that gives us more flexibility to experiment with the cooking time, okay? Just experiment to obtain very interesting textures with the fish. Normally, traditional escabeche overcook the fish, okay? We will see now, but overcook. So we don't want to do that, okay? So the first, we are going to make today two escabeches. One more traditional is mackerel escabeche, and the other one, okay, this escabeche, the first escabeche, needs to sit overnight, maybe 10, 12 hours, just to take all the flavors, and the vinegar cooks the fish, no? And the other one is with salmon, okay? It's, we don't need to sit, okay? This escabeche is a la minute, it's immediately. It's a special escabeche. So we start with the mackerel, okay? In Catalonia, normally escabeche are made different fishes, like sardine, tuna, bonito, mackerel, sea bream, sea bass, even octopus. So the basic ingredients for a traditional escabeche, there are carrots, okay, we have onions, we need the fish, vinegar, of course, and normally as an aromatic element we use bay leaf or some herb. I prefer to use like I'm gonna use celery, the celery root, and also the celery branches. So that's an aromatic part for us. So first thing we have to do is the mackerel. We will see, we are not going to overcook the mackerel, so we need the mackerel raw. Normally we lightly salt, okay? Imagine that I'm doing that, it's already done. And we let it sit for half an hour, just to cure a bit the fish, okay? So then we have to poach, okay? Traditional escabeche normally, okay, first step, I want to talk back. I have my notes here, so if you see that I check my notes, sorry about that. But okay, traditional escabeche and the escabeche that we did. Normally, the first step is to coat the escabeche and fry it, okay? This is the first cook. We don't want to do that, okay? It's raw, totally raw. So next step, we need to, well, we have émincé, okay? A slicely onion, and we just put. It's really slow cook, so we have to imagine a lot of things. So we need to poach this onion, okay? Low heat, okay? We don't want to brown it a lot. It's like lightly brown, we don't need to brown. So another thing, normally traditional escabeche use this, vinegar, white wine, and oil. We change just a bit. So we have the bones of the mackerel, okay, here, and I'm gonna change here. Well, no, it's fine. I explain. So we have the bones, and I use these bones to make a fish stock. This is, I change water on the traditional recipes for a fish stock that intensifies the flavor of the dish. So, and as I said, I aromatize this stock with celery. This we need to cook like half an hour, not more. Really, really, really clear and really soft stock. So imagine we have this onion, imagine we have this stock. So to make it more traditional, we need carrot, okay? Normally the carrot, we cook together the onion and the carrot. Okay, again, we don't want to do that. And instead of, we are gonna make a carrot puree aromatized with lemongrass. So we just need, it's a bit heavy, but just to cook this. As I said, it's a very simple technique, very simple dishes, natural ingredients. So we take all this and we cook covered, low heat, until the carrot is totally cooked. No? In that point, we just need to blend, strain just to take out all the fibers, because it's all, we just want the flavor, we don't want the fibers. And let's go imagine all that things. This is the puree, okay? It's a very creamy and aromatic puree, carrot puree. This is the onion, here. Okay, it's slightly brown, but it's not brown. And as I said, this is the stock. So, escabeche mix. I don't know if the correct word, but I like to say escabeche mix. Another important choice, as I said before, is the vinegar. Now we have thousands of vinegars, so that's a really interesting part to make escabeche, because we can make, I don't know, this is Chardonnay vinegar, because it's really sweet and the sourness is very balanced. So I like to match, no? It's like, but we have apple, we have pomegranate, we have merlot wine, we have thousands of vinegar. So first step, to make the escabeche mix. Normally, the proportion is 1 part of vinegar, 2 parts of stock. In my recipe, normally will be 1 part of vinegar, 1 part of oil, 1 part of white wine, some water. That's easier. Okay, we need to boil a bit to reduce intensify the acidity of vinegar. Just a bit, like it's really small quantity. We can go fast. So we add 2 parts of fish stock. It's really sweet, this vinegar, really sweet. And now, this is the moment when, if you remember the first step of traditional escabeche, we have to fry fish. So it's one cook, it's cooked already. So that is a traditional moment that we should introduce the fish in this escabeche. So it's a second cook. Again, we don't want to do this. Instead, okay, we aromatize this escabeche. This is diced celery root and diced celery branch. I don't know, celery and celery stock. So I like too much to use the different parts of the vegetables. So up here. So we want this. You know, the onion now is really tender, but we want the celery root and the celery stock raw, almost raw, because for the texture, you know, for find something crunchy in that menu, in that dish. Okay, so imagine it's already salt. It's totally we cut the caballas. This is important when we are talking about tapas. It's really important to cut, you know, to cut the fish, the meat, the ingredients into small pieces, okay? Why? When we talk about tapas, okay, you can explain better than me.
But it's important to have a bite size because the idea is that we try many dishes, that we share and we mix flavors. So we mix a little bit of escabeche mackerel with white and green asparagus, with thank you, with marinated tomato, a fried ham croquette, like this. So it's so important from inside, from the house, from the heart, from the kitchen, that they take into consideration the way people are supposed to eat. So especially when the number of the table, it's impar, 5, 6, 7, we always have to take care of that because people want to have their piece. Not too much, but not too little. So this way they can get to try the tapas with their proper whole bite. And that's one of Sergio's most important considerations when he's cooking. It's thinking how the people, how the client, how the guest are gonna try his bite.
So we have the raw mackerel, and now this is the only contact that the mackerel will have with the heat. So that is an interesting thing that's before I said that we have more flexibility to experiment with cooking time. Sorry. So just we pour the hot escabeche over the raw mackerel. Okay. And I repeat, this is the only contact with the heat. So it's important to let it sit for 12 hours at least, just for two reasons. That way, well, now it's hot, so the temperature is cooking a little bit the fish, but most important thing, the vinegar have to make his effect, no? And it's important also because all the flavors go inside the fish, and well, the fish acquires a lot of tastes. Next day, okay, after one night in the fridge, that's the result. Here is separate. Normally in restaurant, I should strain the onion and separate liquid or escabeche mix from the onion, just because it's easier to serve. So this is the result. I don't know if you can see, but it's really okay. It's really pink inside. It's almost raw. The texture is really tender, and the taste it's really good. So I think we have everything we need to finish this tapa. We always serve this escabeche in Spain with bread, because we say that the best part of these dishes is to dip bread in escabeche sauce, because it's really, really good. So we take a tablespoon carrot puree. We make a bed with the onion, the poached onion, and celery stalk, celery rod. Last moment I add some zest lime and some chive. Okay, just for the color and the aroma. So next day, maybe you can hear it's really crunchy. Okay, the celery. Okay, we place. And now that's for dressing. For dressing, no, sorry, for refreshing. And add some color to the dish. One more. Okay. And here I have, okay. This is the escabeche, okay? This is just a bit of liquid, escabeche mix, mixed with a bit of carrot puree. This is only for sauce a bit. I always finish my dishes with chive. I don't know why. I have a problem, but I like so much. And we add some celery leaf, and this is the dish. Okay. So we have 2 minutes just to explain, just to explain really quickly another escabeche, because I want to show you a traditional escabeche and another dish, another tapa based on escabeche, but it's not really 100% escabeche, but it's based. It's always based. Okay, this is a salmon escabeche. Salmon escabeche with apple. Yeah. With apple and fennel. We have fennel here. So, time is flying. So, we are gonna do this really quick. That's the same idea. We need an escabeche mix. Okay, here we have apple vinegar. That's the apple vinegar. And again, we pour the apple vinegar, just one part. And we need to boil to reduce the acidity again. And then we have here fresh apple juice. The salmon. The salmon is already cured with salt. Just half an hour, same as the mackerel. Okay. So the interesting thing about this dish is that we cook the salmon in just for 30 seconds. Okay. We want the salmon warm, but still raw. We cook in a sweet and sour escabeche. So when it's a little bit reduced, okay, wait, I explain more things. So to go with this dish, with these tapas, with the salmon, we are going to use 2 different apples, okay? Remember, we have apple vinegar, fresh apple juice, and to go with the salmon, we have apple. One is the first is the sabrunoise, that is apple, okay? Just dressed with a lime and vinaigrette, and we add some dill. And the other one is a golden type or pomme gris, and we saute, and we bake in the oven, and then when it's totally tender, we mix some. It's not here, so we blend with miso and zest and lime juice. Okay. Finally, the result is this. Okay. It's a very tasty baked apple puree. So I'm gonna miss some steps, but I want to show you another escabeche. It's really sweet and sour. It's really nice. I'm gonna use this. Thank you.
Do you want to start plating that one?
Yes. 1 minute. 1 minute. So, really fast.
You know, Roxanne, now
Really
you
fast.
understand when we talk too much to the clients, right? They always say so.
You're doing good.
So we have here a lime vinaigrette, and we have here this apple puree. Okay? Just 30 seconds. We want the salmon really raw. I'm gonna place just 3. We serve with some sweet and sour escabeche. We add some fresh apple and fennel. Okay. And we finish with the apple puree. Some lime vinaigrette. And some dill. That's the dish.
Awesome. Thank you, Chef.
So thank you for your time. Sorry I'm a bit late. So it's already done. Thank you. I hope you come to Barcelona and visit us to Restaurant La Pepita, and maybe you can try some of these dishes. Okay? Thank you very much for your time.
All right. So next we have Chef Matteo. Matteo spent 17 years at the renowned El Bulli before opening his own restaurants, Compartir and Disfrutor. Chef Matteo's approach to food is, we were talking yesterday, and he described it as keeping all the doors open. So from ingredients to techniques to influences, being open to incorporating everything globally that inspires him into his cuisine. He's going to demonstrate some of the techniques and ingredients he's using to riff on some things you might find familiar, like ham and eggs, and show how he is innovating on these kinds of flavors at his current restaurants. So please welcome Chef Matteo.
Good morning. We will try to do all the demonstration in English, but I have Ali near from me in case of. In the first time to say thanks to the Culinary Institute of America, because they believe in the restaurants of our region to come here to explain our projects. That is the same to explain our dreams a little bit, because we need and we try every day to have a project that explain a little bit more our regions around the world. And this is nice for us that there are somebody around the world that believe in these things. She's done a good introduce, because it's true that we passed for 17 years working with Ferran and Julie in Abuji, but it's the reason that when Ferran and Julie say or understand or they thinking or decide to close the restaurant, is the moment that Oriol Castro, Eduard Chatruc, and me too, that we are the 3 chefs and the 3 owners from the restaurants that we have now, we decide to open our first projects. And we try to find it our way in the professional life. And we have started to open the first one in Cadaqués in 2012. It's Compartir. It's similar than share in English. And we try to go to find it a new way to cook and to understood. It's really important the products, the flavor, and what we are finding with the service, and where we can speak and cook around the food with guests that come at home, okay? And in Cadaqués, we try to live in another world, all the pressure that we have it for a lot of time in El Bulli. We finally with a tasting menu with 45 different dishes, and we start in the 0 point with a restaurant, with a carta offer, with the main courses, second courses, and we're thinking about what we are doing or what we needed to start this way. And in Compartir, we try to do all the offer to share in the middle in the table, and we are really happy when we look that the people, when he's sharing all the experience in the table, they leave from the restaurant really happy and really, and they understood a lot the concept from the restaurant, because we try that they have a similar, it's not the same, but a similar, from the tasting menu, but not in individual portions, but just speaking, drinking, and sharing all the experience. And this one is that we are doing in Compartir, this 4 years ago. Neil Doucet is the executive chef that we have now in Disfrutar. That is the second step that we are doing in our professional life. And when we understood all these different things in Compartir, we decide and we are ready to open and to go one step more in the gastronomic offer that we can do it. In Barcelona, in Disfrutar, we work just from the first day in the tasting menu options. We don't have carta. You can find it 3 different tasting menus. One is Disfrutar with around 18 different plates. The other one is the festival menu that we can find it 20 or 22 plates. And the last one is a Menú del Día that we can find it 28, 29, 27, depending on the day, different plates in the tasting menu. With the 2 concepts, we are really happy because we are finding our way. It's not maybe better or the worse, but it's our way to explain the Mediterranean culture, okay? In the Mediterranean culture, we can speak about the conquered regions, Andalusia, Catalonia, País Vasco, Italia, Sicilia, on the north with Milano. But the important in the Mediterranean culture is he introduced very well, that is we need to try every day to keep the windows really open, because the Mediterranean is built around the centuries, always, because there are a lot of people that bring us a new different plates, products, dishes, cultures, and this one for us is the best one that we have, because we have a lot of things to start new ideas that we can become with new products, with new recipes, new projects, and this one, okay? And with Disfrutar and Compartir, we are building this one. For us, a new way to work with the Mediterranean kitchen, okay? Okay, we can do the video from Disfrutar, just 1.5 minutes, and you can check a little bit more what we are doing. To show you a little bit from our style cuisine about some recipes, okay? In Spain, we have a traditional recipe from the bakery. It's a polvorón, okay? It's a mix from the pork fat, almond, and sugar, and something more. But it's too thick. It's really good, but it's too thick. And with this idea, from this elaboration, we try to do it a new one. Here we can work with a maltodextrin, see? And with tomato powder. In this case, we use the freeze-dried tomato powder because we understand that it's a little bit more flavor and tasting than the traditional dried with a warm air. And the freeze-dried, we can keep it the intensive from the flavor. Eso me poco a poco, ¿vale? Sí. Later, we mix really well the tomato powder and the tomato extreme to have the tomato in all the parts from the elaboration, and we added the salt. When we have this mix really mixed, okay, we start to add the extra virgin olive oil, and here we can combine two mythic Mediterranean products, that is the tomato and the olive oil, and we are mixing one traditional recipe with two products really Mediterranean. We start to mix it, okay, with a varilla, see? And at the end, we take some gloves, and we finally, with a hand, to have a really mixed, very homogeneous, see? Homogeneous, okay? He continued to adding the olive oil, and at the end, we will keep it in top from the paper leaves, okay? And we press it. Here is a part that is more similar than the polvoron, because the polvoron, when you have la masa, see, you can do the balls or the square like you want the form, okay? But now, the really important is that we mix it the maltodextrin, that is a really volatile product, okay, with oil, that we keep it the humidity outside from the elaboration, okay? With this oil, we are closing the elaboration for the humidity, okay? And we taste it just in the texture that we need it or that we are finding. Amunt, va ser. Nil, amunt guant, sí, vulguis. Ja ho pots anar estirant, si vols, Sí? Perfecte. You can check the texture. In sometimes it's a little bit break it, but in the middle we can keep the form that we give them. Okay? Later in the midday is this recipe is the recipe that we have as we give them, okay, in the World Marketplace at 2 o'clock to taste it. Okay, you can test this one. Okay, we press a little bit more, and just later we can cut it. Okay, you can look that in top is really homogeneous. And now we start to cut it with cortapastas. See, we have the polvo inside. We cut it just 4 or 2 more, okay, and with the other ones. At the end, we go to keep it a little skin from the tomato powder in top with a string, because we are finding that we can go down in the tooth. The flavor, it's at the moment. I don't need wait to, ¿cómo se llama? Fundir. Fruit melt. Dissolve. Right? We don't need to wait to dissolve the polvoron in the tooth to find it the flavor, but just in the time that we go in, we find it all the intensity from the olive oil and in this case, the tomato powder. Okay? We added a little bit more from olive oil. In this case, it's like a sphere from caviar oil. And what's really important in this plate, after we finish our job, here start the job from the guest, okay? They need to take it, but it's really important to eat in 2 bites. Why? Because we cannot forget the bits, because they give us a lot of information from the plate. And if I take this polvoron and I bring in the same time in my tooth, I have one sensation. When I eat it in 2 bites, I'm finding the tomato powder, the olive oil, the texture that I find it with the bits, okay? And later, I have more flavors and more sensation inside. But the first step is here, and the second one is inside in the tooth, okay? Okay, we go with another recipe. We will do a macaroni carbonara, okay? This one is more complicated, and we will do with a video, okay? Sí, ahora sí. Okay, here we will do a traditional macaroni carbonara, but we try to finding with more value in the recipe. The innovation here is that we change the traditional pasta, okay? We start to work with Iberic ham bones, okay? And we will do a consommé. This consommé, when it's done, it's the base that we use it to do the pasta, to do the macaroni, okay? The consommé, we will separate the fat in top, okay, when we leave in the fridge for some hours, and the clean consommé in the base. We take this one, but we want a little bit more flavor, okay? It's the reason that we adding the black liquid, that is soya sauce, but don't we add it salted, and we add the soya sauce to be a little bit more intense flavor in the mix altogether, see? Later, the powder that you see it in the video is a powder gelatin, okay? To be really hard, because we are finding the texture from the al dente pasta, not a soft pasta, okay? Not for 20 minutes boiling, just 4 or 5 minutes, okay? We add the leaf of gelatin, and this one is the base that we will start to work it to do it the new pasta from the macaroni, okay? It's important to dissolve very well all the ingredients. We have a thick gelatin for this reason, because we are finding al dente pasta, okay? We have these iron or inox sticks that we keep it in the ice water. We dry it very well with a paper, and we keep it inside the consommé with the gelatin, okay? All the liquid is around the sticks. We cut it, and we take it the cylinders, okay? Now it's easy. In the beginning, it's more difficult, eh? Okay, and we need to do it, all the cylinders, and we start to cut it, the macaron by macaron every day. We do 2,000 macarons every day in this system. Yeah. We do 20 pieces per person. It's not just one, because it's a plate of pasta. It's not just to try one. You need to take the spoon and the fork and the knife, and you need to eat it, okay? And we do 20 macarons per person every day. We open for lunchtime and dinner time. So we are working today to do this. Okay, later we start to work it with the sauce, okay? In the sauce, we do the same one, that the flavors that we are finding always, like in the tomato. We go to the carbonara with whipping cream and the bacon, but it's important that the bacon is not burned, but it's in the limit, because we are finding the intense from the flavor from the roasted bacon, okay, in the pot with the butter, with the washed butter. All is really, really tasty. I roast it, and we add the whipping cream, and we keep it for some 30 minutes to infusion with all the flavors, and we strain, and we take out the cream. And with this cream, with a lot of bacon flavors that we roasted before, we will do the foam, okay? That is the texture and the flavor that we are finding to keeping the macarons in his way. Here we added a little bit from Chantana gum, see, to be a little bit more texture in the sauce. And when we do the foam, we can keep it a little bit in top, because this one will be a warm foam. It's not cold. It's a warm plate. It's the reason that the gelatin that you use it in the beginning to do the macaroni, it's kappa, because he can keep it the temperature and the texture in the same time, okay? We got it in the siphon, the whipping cream. It's done easier than this, and we put it in the warm water. Now we are preparing to say something, the toppings, okay, that we added in the plate to mark a little bit more the flavors than the roasted bacon, the parmesan that you can find in the macaroni carbonara, and we do another time one bacon butter, or bacon roasted butter, to add it like a sauce in top, in the same time that we added the foam, okay? We strain this one, it's the same color, but it's not burned, because we find it this limit, okay, the intensive from the flavor. Okay, and we go to finally with macaroni in the pan, with some roasted bacon, a parmesan, egg yolk, fresh, salt, pepper, to be hot in the salamandra, and we will finish with a sauce. That is the cream foam that we do it with the bacon roasted. And we added a little bit from the bacon butter. We mix it, and we will start to eat it, and it's all. Well, just a little bit from Parmesan, and now it's done. It's this. Okay. Okay. I think that we are on time. We will try to do another recipe, okay? In this recipe, we will work with eggs and ham, okay? It's a typical mixing in different versions in our country. We can find it with fried potatoes with ham and one egg in top. We can do the fried egg with ham in the same olive oil, or we can do a little bit different things. And we will try to do it a different way to eat the crispy egg. When we do an egg in the pan with the oil, we like a lot all the crispy white egg that we fried it in the corners, okay, with a really hot oil. And in this case, we try to put it this one in the top, on the maximum that we're thinking about. Okay, in the beginning, we will do ham, consomme. In this case, we mix it the bones and the ham because we are finding more flavor than in the macaroni. Okay, in the macaroni we use just the bones because the important in the flavor, it's the ham is in another step, and in top we find it the carbonara, the roasted bacon, and this one. And if we put it in ham, the bacon and the ham cannot go in the same plate in the same time to explain something. Okay, in this case we do a ham consomme that we added just water and to keep it to boil for 30, 45 minutes, and we have this result. I'm not sure, yeah, okay. When the ham is a little bit dried and he lets in the water all the flavors from the fat, from the food, from the meat, and this one, it's enough. And we have the consomme. It's similar than we do it with the bones, but there it's another flavor, okay? We boil for 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and we have this result. Podem anar, si vols, tranquil·lament ara? Sí, a cuellar això. Sí? In this case, we will work with another jelly that is agar-agar, okay, from the seaweeds, no? Són algas, no? Why we do agar-agar? Because the texture that agar-agar bring us to do the gelatins. When we keep warm, ja pots anar fent, eh? When we keep warm, it's really, really delicate. It's not so strong. For example, in the macaroni example, we work with capa, because the capa is like a stone, and we are finding the al dente texture. And in this case, we are working just with agar-agar, because we contain the gelatin in one container, and we eat it with a spoon, okay? It is like a soup with a really, really delicate texture, okay? Okay. Sí, tens una quallada, no? Vale, deixa'm aquí, i ara bullirem això. Sí, perfecte. Ah, fantàstic. Sí, sí, mentre es bull el caldo, no? Vale. Okay, in the same time that the consomme is boiling, okay? Has afegit l'agar-agar, ja? Perfecte. It's important that the agar-agar, we add it in the beginning, when the consomme is cold. Because if we add it when it's hot, they close in bubbles, and you cannot dissolve ever, okay? And when it's cold consomme, we can add the agar-agar, it dissolves very well for all the liquid, and later we go to boil, it's really important, all together, okay? Now, with the fat from the ham, we will do oil from ham, okay? We just put it the white parts without the red ones, and with a little bit olive oil. We keep it in the fire, and they cook slowly, maybe for 30, 45 minutes, and we have this result. In Spanish, we say chicharrones. See, the skin or the fat, when it's cooked, is like this, okay? Tens una mica de fresc? De greix fresc? Vale. Okay? We have this one, all is inside, the water, the fat, and this one, and here, all the flavor is a little bit crispy, little bit, okay? All the flavor that the ham is inside in the fat. And we will use, if you can eat it 1 spoon from this fat, maybe you can say, hey, I need water, please, okay? But just from a little bit in the plate, you can do it intense flavor that can help you to close the dish a little bit more. Okay. Vale, okay. We have the consomme with agar that is ready to boil. We have here the fat that is doing, and here the crispy at the end that we don't use it. We use it just the oil. And now we will do a tempura, okay, with fresh yeast, flour, ja pots anar fent, and water. We mix it the 2 flours and the yeast with water. Ves fent, Nil, està bé. Vale. The yeast with the water, we add the flour, little bit salt, and we have the final result here that we prepared ready before. And we have a tempura. It's a traditional tempura. We don't have any problem to do it. Okay? Farem la barreja i ens anirem cap a l'altre, vale? Okay. We have more things ready to understand. Here we have the cold gelatin. That it's done. Okay? See? This one is the cold gelatin that we have from the consomme, from ham. It's not really hard, but it's more hard than the when it's warm. Okay? Here in the Baño Maria, you can find it, the warm shell eggs with a hot gelatin. It's a little bit more different. Maybe we cannot find it with the texture. It's called too. Okay, don't worry. But we find it when you put it in the tooth. Okay, it's different the texture from when we are cold, when we are warm. Okay.
Chef, do you want to start assembling?
Sorry?
Do you want to start assembling your dish?
En 20 segundos we are finished. Okay, we have the final plate that we put in the shell egg with the warm gelatin, okay? Ja està, no, ves amb la tempura, sí? We add it, ja pots anar tu amb la tempura i vaig amb el greix. Directament fregint una i demà la. We added the ham oil just inside, just a little when we mix it with a spoon, okay, when we eat it. En tens una? Vale. Molt està bien aquí. Perfecte. We have the ham that we cut it before, okay? Està bé. Perfecte. Okay. We added the crispy egg in top. See? With a little bit ham. And this is finished. It's a ham consomme, warm inside, with a ham oil, the crispy egg, brown in top, and the ham, and it's all. It's done. It's all okay, Estàs bé, Nil. Just we cut it this one. Neil, tell me, and you can... that it's liquid inside, okay? No.
That's great. Thank you, Chef Mateo.
Okay.
So that was a pretty interesting look at what's going on in Catalan cuisine, from traditional to the innovation end. So let's give a round of applause to our chefs, Mateo and Sergio. And I think we have time for maybe one question, if anybody has anything burning that they would like to ask the chefs. Okay, good job, chefs.
You explained very well.
All right, thank you very much.